Alright, so if I lost every single thing right now and I was told to start again, this is exactly the exact same AI service I would choose. And it's not actually because, let's say, it's trendy. It's actually because it's easy to explain and easy to guarantee results with. And in this video, I'll show you exactly what that is, how you can find clients for that service, how you can close them, how you can price it, all that good stuff. So let's get started with that. So you might say, Ahmed, today, why voice agents? Well, let me explain something to you, because most AI services are extremely hard to sell in actuality. And here's how they all compare. And here are the services that I've chosen: chatbots, workflow automation, AI dashboards, content generation of voice agent. These are actually one of the most used and most sold AI services out there right now by AI agents. Start with chatbots. Chatbots, workflow automation, AI dashboards, content generation, and AI voice agents, they're all easy to explain. Chatbots, I'm just going to hook you up for your customers so that they can ask questions back and forth on your website or in your DM. Then we have workflow automation, which is basically automating your workflow. This is a bit on the hard side of explanation because you have to be an expert in the first place. When it comes to dashboards, yes, it is easy to explain, but not a lot of people do see the ROI in that, which I'll come to in a moment. Then we have content generation. Okay, I'm going to automate your content. That works. That was also easy to explain. AI voice agent is also easy to explain. I'll say most AI services are all easy to explain. Then, when it comes to easy to guarantee, how would you guarantee the results of a chatbot back and forth communication? See, that's the issue. Second one, workflow automation. Okay, maybe you can guarantee time saved, but how can you accurately do that? Then we have AI dashboards. AI dashboards, but you can't guarantee efficiency gains and stuff like that. Then we have content generation, where you can guarantee views and stuff like that, but still it's not tangible. Like voice agents, where you can guarantee, let's see, okay, XYZ number of people call you, XYZ number of people they are going to convert, or XYZ people submitted their lead forms, XYZ people you're going to convert, that type of thing. And when it comes to delivery, the fulfillment, which is where a lot of people do get stuck. Okay, chatbot, is it easy to fulfill? Yes, it is easy to fulfill because it's actually one of the easiest AI services you can sell, and it was actually the first AI services that was trended when the AI services boom started, basically. Then we have workflow automations, which requires technical expertise. AI dashboards too. Content generation, yes, to a certain degree, but not as much. Then we have AI voice agent, which is extremely easy to fulfill with the AI tools that we have nowadays. Then when it comes to the clients getting it, understanding it, making it tangible to them, not just that, but also understanding the results that they're going to get in their own language, from their own perspective. Chatbots, not really. It depends on the type of client. But the most of the time, if you're starting out, the clients that you would be working with are SMBs, which their main focus is on growth, not on customer service. So, nope. Chatbots is not going to work out. Workflow automations is also not going to work out. AI dashboards is also not going to work out. Content generation is also not going to work out. It could work out, but not really. But when it comes to AI voice agent, a lot of these SMBs acquire their client through phone calls. So this just makes it way perfect. And let me explain why AI voice agents in particular, because in every business, most businesses, I would say, it follows the cycle, which is lead captured, lead generated, to lead captured, to contact attempt, to appointment setting. Then from the appointment, that person turns into a customer for their business. And where this gap exists is basically between the lead captured and the contact attempt, because that is exactly where peak interest is, and that is where at the same time businesses lose a lot of money. Think of it like this: the time that the person submitted their inquiry is when they are interested the most, basically. So you would want to convert them at that time, but most businesses slack when it comes to calling up their leads on time. So we are basically capitalizing on the opportunity. And what happens most of the time is that lead comes in, their interest is 100%. An hour later, it's definitely dropping. A day later, you've simply forgotten. And the algorithm is already showing them competitor ads, because whoever contacts first wins. Think of it like this: you definitely opted in for an ad before, and that ad that you clicked or you opted in, let's say a few hours later or a few days later, when you have not been contacted by that business, depending on if that business's client acquisition cycle is following this cycle we have right here, you are probably seeing other ads from different businesses. And if the days go by, guess what happened? You've probably had this. Your interest declines over time, and sometimes you will forget. And business owners know this gap exists. What they don't know is that AI now makes fixing it economically viable. Because before, you need to hire staff for 24/7 coverage, which was expensive, and now AI does it instantly at a fraction of the cost. And that's why voice agents win, because they map directly to this gap, which you can see right here. Because you can easily do 2 services on top of this, and you can easily start by building out 2 services for this. First of all is a lead reactivation campaign. This works extremely well if you're starting out, because you can immediately prove your value without the client committing so quick. Because what you do is just set up an AI, call this dead lead, he engages them, codifies them, and books them on appointment. Then we have the AI receptionist, which is basically an inbound caller which receives call, while an outbound is one that makes call to people. That's the difference. And this AI basically answers every call 24/7 and qualifies the callers, then ends up booking the appointment. And when it comes to this, basically, I would explain a bit why we start with the lead reactivation for the outbound. So now we know what we'll be selling, which is voice agents, and we know the specific service, which is basically the lead reactivation and the AI receptionist. So now, how would Ahmed actually price these 2 services if he was starting up? So now, here's one thing I want you to understand, because nobody buys AI voice agent. One lesson that I learned was that people buy results, which are booked appointments, revenue, and leads not falling through the cracks. Nobody cares about voice agent. All they care about is then achieving their result. And you can achieve that result by using your mechanism, which is basically the vehicle that you're moving from where they are to achieving the result, which in this case will be AI voice agent. And how I would do this is using 2 different offers. I would have a front-end offer, which is an offer that would basically get me in the door. Because right now, one thing I've learned is that we are in a trust recession, which means that not everyone will be willing to pay in full for your high-ticket offer. So we need to first of all get into the door, which you can see here, I call it the door opener. And what this does is that it gets you into the door to strangers, then you deliver results, then you build trust, and then from there you can upsell your high ticket service. And most of the time, a very, very good front-end offer should be easily achievable, should be easy to understand and straight to the point, and not just that, but easy to commit from the client's perspective. For example, lead reactivation campaign is actually one of the best front-end offers you can have. And you can see the promise here is simple: send 15 appointments in 30 to 45 days, or simply you don't pay. Anyone can understand this. Then you can see the price here, which is $500 to $1,500, which is extremely on the low end. Or you can do a performance basis, which I'll explain in a bit. Then we have the duration, which is extremely short, 30 to 45 days, and this is when you sell, and this is the offer that you send to strangers. Then here we have the money maker, which is basically the high ticket offer. This is going to be your full AI conversion system, which would basically include the receptionist, the reactivation, follow-up, the dashboard. Not just that, but also the speed to need system, and maybe if they're running Facebook ads and stuff like that, your AI immediately calls up those leads. Then the price for this could range based on the value you're creating, which I would explain, which typically could depend on $3,000 to $10,000, depending on the niche that you pick. And for this type of service, I would want you to go on a longer contract term. And if I was starting out, which this video is about, I'm not going to choose a monthly retailer, because every single month you're looking to get new clients or retain that same client, which is just a headache for you. Why not just sign that client for a long term, and you just focus on achieving the results, and that time frame gives you time to be more patient and achieve the results, not just for yourself, but for the client as well. And this is what you sell to the clients who already trust you and you have delivered good results for. Now, it's time to think about your own. Let's think about your niche right now, the one that you're thinking of. What's the outcome you could guarantee that is extremely specific and easy to understand? Not just that, And what would the full system look like for your own market? And what I mean here about your niche is that you need to make the name of the service relate to your niche. For example, let's say you work with dentists. You could be like, okay, let's see, patient reactivation campaign or something along those lines, so that your ideal customer would be able to understand easy. But now, when it comes to the pricing, because a lot of beginners do make this mistake. Even I, when I started, made this mistake. But that is why exactly I am here, because remember, I'm starting from the beginning and I'm taking on my lesson. First of all, you should always price based on the value you create, not on the hours that you spend on delivering a product. For example, most people think, how long will this take me to make? When in reality, you should think, what is this worth to the ICP or to the client? For example, here are some extremely good pricing models. One is a flat fee where you charge 500 to 1,500 upfront with an appointment guarantee, which means that if you do not deliver those appointments, they don't pay or you refund them their money. But this requires a bit of a commitment from the client, which would mean that you would need some social proof and case studies to do this. Then we have the hybrid, which is basically upfront, then they pay per appointment. This is the medium one. Then this one is if you have a zero, when I mean zero social proof, and you should start with $0 upfront and you pay per appointment only. As you can see, this is the easiest to close and hardest on cash flow for you to as well, because you're starting out. But it's fine. You want to use this to rack up your case studies and your social proof so that you can eventually start selling this on the front end for your front end offer. And the ROI math is simple. Look at it from this perspective. And let's say for the appointment that your system books, and then they eventually turn into a close for that client is worth $800 on average for your client, for example. Or should I say your customer's client, if I'm mixing up the words. So if let's say the client was to get 8 closes or 8 new customers, you're bringing that client $6,400 in revenue. And let's say it took you 60 days to deliver. The total cost would be about $1,500, which if you were to reverse engineer this, you would see that for every $1 invested, they got back $4.30. And this is basically how you frame based on the value you create, because you're just proving it as an ROI system. You put in $1, they get back $4.30. Who wouldn't want that kind of system? Even I would love that. So you see, the math sells the option for you immediately. So now it's your turn. I want you to write down your front end price, your guarantee, and your guarantee, which is XYZ number of appointments in XYZ days. Then the client's average value. Then you can put in your expected appointment. You want to make sure to under promise here so that you can over deliver. Then you write in the ROI for the client, whether it's 4x return, 5x return, or 6x return. The higher the better. And when it comes to the offer and pricing, that's just like one piece. To actually make this work as a business, there are like actually 4 systems that need to come together. Like the offer engine, which is basically what to sell, who to sell it to, how to price it, which we covered today. Then we have the acquisition system, which is basically how to get in front of businesses and calls. Then we have the sales playbook. Then we have the delivery infrastructure. And these 4 systems are needed in order for you to make this work, obviously, as a business. And I've got you covered because I run a live workshop weekly that walks you through all this 4 with worksheets and everything provided. So you're actually building your own as you go. So it's actually interactive. I'll link it in the description below and I'll see you there. So now, how can we find clients? When it comes to finding clients, cold call is actually one of the fastest paths after your personal network. But some people do not like that, so I'm going to avoid that. I'm going to skip that. So let's focus on cold calling. The reason why cold calling works is that it gives you instant feedback, because when you call someone, they pick up. And when they pick up, if they pick up, you get a yes or no right there, which gives you the fastest loop. And the process is simple. All you have to do is simply go onto Google Maps, which you can see here. Let's search for Med Spas in Nottingham. You're here. You have a bunch of businesses to reach out to. And an easy tool that you can use to scrape is a Google Call Instant Scraper. And you want to make sure to add this tool. And once you're here, just come right here and click on Instant Data Scraper. Once you're here, you want to click on Locate this next button. scroll all the way down, locate the next button right here, and all you have to do, wait, let's find it. Okay, yeah. So all you have to do is just click on start scrolling, and you can see it's going to start scraping the businesses on my behalf. As you can see, we've got 80 businesses to reach on, which is actually insane because cold calling is a volume game. Because I'm not gonna come here and tell you that it is easy. It's not easy, but it is the fastest way to actually book. You can see here we just scraped 422 businesses. I know the data looks a bit confusing, but I've made it easy for you. So just paste it right here, and you have a list of businesses all in a very, very good format for you. And the good thing is that you want to make sure that you have, let's say, businesses on 4.0 stars, let's say, so that they are not like bad enough, too bad. Then on their reviews, you don't want them to be that too small or too big. So let's say 25. Okay, good. Then we have to click on has phone, has website, and now we have list of businesses that we can reach out. And all you have to do is just go through this form, and you can reach out to them. You don't see the website, you click it right here. I made it so easy for you, and I'm actually going to include the link to this tool right here. And in a live, use this tool to scrape. For now that we have added this, which means that you get access to this document and you can get access to this tool directly so you can clean your lead. But the reason why I say that you need their website is because of the strategy that we use when cold calling. Because based on my experience, I like to do something called the front load strategy. The front load strategy is basically when you check the business if they have the problem that you solve with your offer, basically, which in this case is a voice agent or lead activation. So let's say we go to this business right here, we click on link, and let's see if they have, let's say, a lead opt-in. Okay, we have it right here. So let's say we put in our name, email, phone number, and our message. I'll see basically how fast they reach out back to us, or we can check if they are running any ads. Or one thing that you can do if you're selling AI inception is that you can call these businesses off hours, basically, like not during working hours, basically, and you can see if someone picks up. If no one picks up, they are qualified. If someone picks up, which means that they have someone that is covering their off hours, like their off working hours, basically. You know what I mean? And here are other things that you can do as well. As I've said, the Google review stuff and the running ad. And once you have this, it basically means that this business is qualified, which means that you can reach out to them because they have your problem, which means that you can solve it. And now on the cold call path, and here is exactly how you would pitch. And one thing I'll say about cold calling is that cold calling is 90 or 80% about the tonality or how you say the message rather than the script itself. And one thing I'll tell you is that focus on the pitch. And I also made a video that you can watch that goes in detail about the script itself. I'm going to link it right here too as well. I've added it right here, guys, so yeah, you can have access to it. And the quick thing that I just want to say right here, okay, another thing is that the front load strategy, okay, I also linked it right here too as well. I go more in depth with the videos, so you can see I've got you on covered. So now let's continue with the cold calling pitch, because if you cold call, you want to state the problem. Like, for example, oh, I noticed you have 200 reviews, but you've got no way to capture leads after hours. And what happens when someone calls at 9 p.m. and you let them explain how they solve their problem, basically? Because you see, you're not a salesperson. You're someone who found the problem and you're just pointing it out. And in this video, as I said, I go a bit more in depth on how the cold call will actually go. Then you want to do at least 100 dials every single day. Then from there you would know your numbers. These numbers are just approximations, but the more cold calls you do, the more you would know your numbers, which by numbers I basically mean how many cold calls you need to do in order to book a call. And from there you would know how many calls you would need to scale, basically. Then once we're done with that, we have come to the fulfillment, because now you have basically booked a call. Actually, one more video plug, which is basically about closing and how you would
Let's add it right here.
This one is basically about closing, and once you book the call, obviously they're gonna come on your call, and this video goes exactly in depth about how you can close that client. And now let's say you've closed them. What tools do you need for fulfillment? Well, for fulfillment, you're going to need 4 tools, which is Retail AI, where you're going to build a voice agent. Then we have Go High Level, which you should be familiar by now. If you don't know it, it's basically a CRM where you can build workflows, have a calendar, and also manage your client.
And not just that, but you can also assign a solo account to a client. So it's extremely personalized.
Then we have Twilio, which is basically where you buy the phone numbers, and you can basically use that to send SMS, WhatsApp, all that good stuff. Then we have Simpana, which is basically the bridge between retail and Go High Level. Because before, in order for us to link Go High Level and retail, we needed a tool called Anytime. And not everybody was experienced and technical enough to use Anytime. Well, Simpana now makes it extremely easy for us. And that's basically it. And when it comes to building the voice agent, we're mainly going to be using Cloud Code, because I've told you, voice agents is extremely easy to build now with Cloud Code. And if you don't know what Cloud Code is, it's basically an agentic tool. Good. Basically an agentic tool by Anthropic, and it basically makes it extremely easy for you to build voice agent. Because what I did is that I created a skin, which is basically packaging domain expertise you can use to Cloud Code, which is basically the agentic tool to basically have expertise on a specific topic. And in this case, I built this skin, which is an expert in building voice agents, basically the whole thing, using Cloud Code, using retail, using Go High Level, and Simpana, everything, basically all the 4 tools that I highlighted inside the tools that also Twilio to learn. So you want to use this and you want to build the voice agent. And not just that, but I'm going to also add the link to a video, which is basically a video that I went through how you can build the voice agent with Cloud Code, and where you can build little voice agents with Cloud Code. And it goes basically in depth about every single thing. And now basically once you build the whole thing, and let's say you've delivered it to the client, all that good stuff, it's basically what you should do. First of all, you want to set up Slack notifications, or wherever that client is, whether they're on WhatsApp or wherever you are keeping them. Basically, you want to be sending appointment notifications all the time once an appointment you're booked. Not just that, but you want to be doing weekly ROI reports at the end of the week. Not just that, but have a dashboard that they can quickly see their metrics and all that good stuff. And what you should do is that you should have a review call with them at the end of every single room, so that they actually see that what they are paying for is actually being in their money, and make it ROI framed. Like, you put $1 in, you get for that type of concept, because that's the only language business owners understand. I'm one myself, so I'm telling you this. Then the timeline is this, basically. As I said, you onboard them day 1, they fight, the system goes live, because you can easily build a voice agent using text and in 30 minutes basically. But getting into production takes a bit of a back and forth, and this skill handles all of that for you, as I've said. Then day 7 is when results start coming in. Day 30, you want to do the review call plus the ROI audit, and you see the client feels that the system is working, and they see proof without you saying anything. Then once everything is going good, which is when you want to basically upsell them, which is where the real money is. Because the front-end offer, as I've said, was never the destination, it was just the foot in the door. Then here's exactly how you can provide it. Just say, okay, maybe on one of the review calls, you could say, okay, so we generated $6,400 for you from $1,500 investment, and we could do much better, and here's actually what the process covers. You see, the upsell is actually going to be one of your easiest. Say, no cold outreach, no convincing, just expanding already on what's working. And that's exactly the full path from A to Z if I was to start today. First of all, you find the business, then you sell the front-end offer, you deliver the results, then you upsell that client, and then you keep on repeating. And this is exactly how you can go from $500 project to $10,000 client without changing your service. And that is basically it, the whole thing. Everything from finding business to basically upselling the high-ticket offer. I remember what I said midway through the video. As I said, most of these things are just bite pieces.
And there are actually 4 systems to make this work as an actual business, which is the offer engine, acquisition system, the sales playbook, and the delivery infrastructure. And I run 3 live workshops every single week that walks you through all the 4 with worksheets, so you're actually building as you go and you're actually held accountable. And as I've said, I'll link it in the description below along with all the links here and the link to this document so that you can get access to it. So yeah, see you on the workshop call, and make sure you go ahead and implement this.